That's going to be an interesting battle all afternoon.
4 quarters of intense pressure to claim a slice of football immortality. It's the 2021 AFLW Grand Final. It's the Crows, the Lions, and away we go.
And it's either going to be three-peat Crows or third-time lucky Lions. Marinoff, what a surprise as the first touch of the afternoon. Gets it forward looking for Shear. He was electric in that Grand Final 2 years ago. She can't wrestle her way free, and Brisbane Lions play goes over the top quite athletically in the form of Grider, who, as mentioned, one of 2 Lions who didn't feature in the match in round 4. The Crows, interestingly enough, have 5 players who didn't feature in that game. Of course, those defensive mainstays of Cox and Van Hagen. 2 hands from Hickey, Anderson to the outside. Ran into her teammate Anderson. In fact, it was Conway trying to bustle her way through, and we feel like this might be a theme early. Stoppage after stoppage, as both teams feel each other out. Metcalf, so good last week against Pearson, again takes the aggressive front position. Jones kicked the last goal of the prelim final. Conway, the Lions' first meaningful touches at the feet of Wardlaw. Here is the skipper, Foley. A good touch early, but through the legs of Hatchard. Van Hagen was fanning off. We'll have another stalemate.
Rhiannon, Talia. Good work, Carly, good start. Up.
Metcalf got the tap. You could see she was heading in the Hatchard direction, who was on the move and somehow managed to bust out. Floats a kick inside 50 towards the pocket. Getting back is the ever-reliable Conan. Links up with Campbell and Zilke. There's the heart of that Brisbane defence, and she finds Lauren Arnell. There's the experience right there.
Play on. You.
Arnell to the wing. Rachich versus Wardlaw. Ground level, the dangerous Conway involved again. By hand back to Bates, off a step towards half forward. Davidson and Allen go at it. That's the match-up forward. Here's Wardlaw involved again. A wide-open forward 50. Hodder's got electrifying pace. If Rachich gets caught goal side, she's in trouble. Well done, Rachich. Got boot to ball. Marinoff arrived in support. Bodie there lurking. Davidson as well. Bodie still involved. Here's a chance for Spark. Steps around a couple of opponents. Gives it off to O'Dwyer. The Irish woman runs to 48. Handball over the top. Quick kick from Anderson was rushed inside 50. Bouncing football. Davidson comes out. Gets boot to ball. Bounces it towards the top of the goal square. Here is Hodder. Quick snap. Opening goal, Lions.
Really good start, guys. Really good start.
Surging football from the Brisbane Lions. Patient from the back. Surge numbers when they got it past the wing, and their pressure was telling.
That's a big tick for their game style and what they wanted to bring in. They chain it from the back half forward, and Hodder, who was persona non grata in the preliminary final, hits the scoreboard early.
Well, it's just surge football early from the Brisbane Lions, and Courtney Hodder, we spoke of her pre-game just having the 1 handball last week, but you just get the sense that she's ready to light up this stage here today in the grand final.
There was a Sunshine State swarm in that 60 seconds of play from the Arnell mark at half-back. They just chained it forward. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective, and the visitors get a settler. Mind you, Carlton did kick the first one 2 years ago, and that saw the Crows then unleash the fury. Hickey tries to drive it forward. Here is Considine returning for her first match since round 6. And she's locked up.
No problem. Thanks, girls. Same rocks.
Hickey happy to stand off Metcalf and try and use her athleticism to get over the top. To the back, here is Spark, and she'll get an early touch. It's an inside-out ball that finds its way to Bodie. Flicked it for Hickey, who had O'Dwyer running north of her. Here is Phillips. The champ gets involved. It's not her best. Bit of perceived pressure there, perhaps, in Grider marks.
Play on was the call. So she'll move it on quickly, looking for O'Dwyer versus Thompson. Couple of speedsters out on the wing. Thompson does well, wins the one-on-one. Good effort from Hodder. Smothered it off the boot of Allen for a throw-in.
It's good for Hodder, Abs. Been involved early.
Really good, really good. Coming off that game last week, it was an important win in the prelim final, but this is the biggest stage of all in the AFLW Grand Final, looking very, very dangerous early.
We also spoke of Wardlaw, another X-factor who's had a couple of touches, as Hatchard to Metcalf, left it behind. Metcalf goes back and picks it up. She's immediately taken down in the tackle. Ball underneath that scrimmage of players. It just spills out the back. Spark in there working hard. Metcalf stripped of it. Arnell gets a left boot towards it. Rachich Read it well, couldn't quite control it, keeps it in front of herself. Gives it off to Thompson. Thompson, quick kick's going to come straight back.
Hold Rhiannon.
One of their talented youngsters, Talia Hickey, takes the mark and builds the wall just forward of the wing.
Me.
Shins the kick inside 50. Opportunity for Bates from 40 out. She'll bounce it towards the pocket. Dangerous ball for Davidson. She's got Allen on her shoulder. It trickles towards the line and Sarah Allen breathes a sigh of relief.
Brisbane bringing the heat early, aren't they? Just their pressure at the ball carrier. They're not giving Adelaide any easy possession at all around the ground.
10 uncontested possessions to 2. Yeah. Remember, it was plus 44 to the Crows back in round 4. Here's Button. Short and careful for Mules. Contested ball. Marinoff dribbling into the middle. Allinger with a clean take. Free of the Woodland pressure. Davidson gets an early look and busts through. Shapes the handball wide. Allinger involved once again. She'll funnel it forward. Bodie to the knees. Back to the feet. Fashions a banana that'll head for a 2-on-2. Wardlaw involved. Horrible bounce. Allen of the Najwa variety sees it to the line. There's Lauren Arnell on screen, of course. Played in premierships for fun with Darebin in the VFL women's competition, and then got one last year alongside Emily Bates with Yeronga South Brisbane in the Queensland women's competition. Metcalf, a couple of feet and then a fingernail. Hodder everywhere early in this contest. O'Dwyer over the top, another pack forms. O'Dwyer keeps the ball alive. Metcalf spun, maybe had the feet taken out. Button's trapped.
Ball's out. Locked. Line and go through.
Well, this is good for Brizzy. Just repeat stoppages, have the play inside their forward half. They're setting up very, very well behind the ball. Look at that, 69% in their half already.
Yeah, the ruckman, an effective tap taken by Anderson. High kick inside 50. Allen stands underneath it. The spoil came from Arnell. Bodie, quick hands. Dawes slaps it on. Adelaide with some numbers at the back. Thompson's got to be quick as Hodder was lurking. Lovely kick. Opens a door for Allen. Crows are now a chance to attack through the middle of the ground. They can counter punch through Mules. She can have a bounce. Can pop it over the top. Woodland's going to be the target. Shear there as well. Lutkin's outnumbered. And Lutkin's read it best and saved the day for Brisbane.
Brilliant defence by Lutkins because she was 2-on-1 Adelaide's way, but she just read the fall of the ball beautifully.
Not a great kick. Allen will tidy it up. Najwa to Sarah. Van Hagen. Hatchard. Good pressure again from Brisbane. Hatchard has to snap it round the corner. Heavy collision between Gould and Bates. Spills to Marinoff. Looks for a target inside 50. Phillips, not quite. Pitched in front. Lutkins off the ground. Marinoff there again. Pressure comes from Allinger. Tries to take her down. Ball in dispute, 55 from goal. Charlton can't spin out of the tackle. Ball knocked free. It's there for Mules. Quick hands, Button. Smothered kick inside 50, and the Lions can clear from half back with a couple of tidy possessions. Good pressure here from the Crows.
Marinoff and Spark. Spark can get one against the tag. She'll be bought some time with a Wushner Shepherd. She slaloms her way forward and gets through. Hatchard can steady from centre wing. Van Hagen's there to chop it off, and that's the clean ball that Brisbane need forward.
But that's what I love from Kathy Spark, isn't it? She's been given the lock-on role on Ebony Marinoff, but she does so much in terms of her own possession as well and really generating Brisbane's ball movement forward.
Hatchard afforded no space as Arnell, Bodie and co try and lock it in. Even better, Dawes can keep it alive. She finds an option. It's Bodie. He'll toss the kick forward to another 2-on-2. Wardlaw got hands to it. Rachich hanging out her back pocket. Somehow Wardlaw gets free. Wushner, can she wrestle her way onto a snap? No, she is gang tackled to the turf. Allen to Jones, tangle the feet. Arnell over the top, almost with a UFC style move. Locks it in Brisbane's forward 50 once again.
Eloise Jones just looking at the umpire for the trip, but it was her own player, one of her teammates, that actually did the trip there.
And those tackle numbers 15-7 in favour of Brisbane. They are the hunters right now. Bates and Hatchard, now Marinoff and Spark, the main event. Spark all over her once again, strips through the football. What a contest that's going to be, and such a pivotal one.
2 tackles for Spark already.
Just relentless, isn't she?
Absolutely relentless, and that's going to be Ebony Marinoff's afternoon. There's no doubt about it. She just goes and goes, does she, Kathy Spark?
Hatchard couldn't get an effective kick, so she'll walk Arnell over the line as we head down to Soda.
Yeah, Jace, pressure from Brisbane has been immense. The tackle count just early on, 16-7 in favour of the Lions, and they've dominated uncontested possession as well.
You're fighting there, girls. Hold the meter.
Throw in. Wardlaw.
Play on.
Dawes in there. Button as well. Couldn't get a kick. Phillips up the ground, getting involved. Flips it out to Jones. Quick kick towards the middle of the ground. It was touched off the boot. Shear marked it, but it's going to be play on.
Her hand pass misses Gould, who will have to turn into the shepherd there for Hatchard. Brisbane have got the numbers, and they are ferocious at the moment. Dawes, Bates. Again, quick kick forward, and Van Hagen control. She'll look to change lanes here, utilise Rachich, and they've got some overlap. Careful toe poke. Considine can gather at half-back. Almost closed down by Grider, but some overlap. A rare scene here for the Crows so far. Thompson, she can scoot away. She's got a passage to goal here, Stevie Lee. A third bounce. Gets towards the paint of 50. Where's her option? Conan, clever. Just denied Phillips any space to be utilised.
Play on.
Conan read it beautifully.
You.
Got to the near side of that contest.
Hold.
And delivers to Conway.
Play on. You.
Perfectly positioned for Foley through her hands, but Adelaide got numbers at the back. Jones and Allen combined. Awkward one for Thompson, so she slaps it over the top. It's a 3-on-1 Brisbane's way, but the one is Phillips. Grider. Conway tried to duck under the Thompson tackle, got taken down. Umpire said a throw. This time it's Adelaide forward pressure. The other umpire's called for a push in the back. So one's called a throw, one's called a push in the back, and the push in the back wins.
Thank you. Come back on. Hold.
Umpire's deciding the push came first.
You.
Conway high to the wing again. Jones tried to come over the top. Slapped forward by Davidson. Adelaide with some numbers. Foley had to be quick. Gained some territory. Dawes stands underneath it, gets crunched. Chance here for Charlton. Nice gather. He's got to run it to the outside. It's Hatchard. Conway in pursuit. Does enough to force the kick towards the pocket. Just beats Phillips. Here's Tahu. Kick smothered off her boot. Awkward one now for Brisbane to defuse. It's still alive there for Adelaide. Zilkian over the top of it. Lions happy to force a 50-50 stop ball.
Liking the angles that Bree Conan's working early in defence for the Lions, Abs.
Very, very good Hurley. Defensively are the Brisbane Lions, and Conan, she's just not letting these Adelaide forwards have any run at the footy.
Still a fizzy ball to diffuse here. Spark took them on. It flicks through a set of hands. Considine with the toe poke that was intended for Jones. Too hot to handle for Hodder, who nearly took the ponytail of Van Hagen. And Hatchard, in fact, will get the free kick. So Anne Hatchard wants to chip short into a channel, and Lutkins reading the script superbly in defence so far. Shades of her 2018 grand final for Conway. Now it's Brisbane needing to structure something forward. You can see that's what's in front of Conway. Short on the 45. Smith tries to draw Thompson. She's having none of it, so the kick will come to a contest, and in fact an outnumber. Charlton over the top. Gould. Button. Short ball. Finds Woodland, her first touch. Through O'Dwyer. Pops the handball for Shear. She's powerful enough. Can't barge through. Wonderful tackling pressure from Tahu. And the Brisbane defence as a collective.
They're holding up, aren't they? And just have a look at this field spread wide. All of the players inside Adelaide's forward half.
Hatchard with the intercept, delivers it back inside 50, and guess who once again? Bree Conan.
Very, very impressive early.
One of the most underrated but effective players in the competition. He's done the job on Chloe Malloy twice this season. Now she's got the job on Phillips. Awkward kick. Good contest from Dawes, forced a spillage. Considine couldn't control it. O'Dwyer, Dawes came back for more. Cox tried to spin through a tackle, couldn't do so. Stripped of the football by Dawes. Gets it to Anderson. Anderson against Hodder, to Hodder rather. She's got 3 to beat. And the numbers should win out for Adelaide. Jones went looking for Hatchard, missed the target. Anderson under pressure. Uses Tahu. Now Dawes. Beautiful, tidy delivery that. Very small window, and it found Smith. She lopes to the wing and then turns it over. Chance for Adelaide to just catch their breath and set up here. This is Ponta. Switch into the corridor. Foley to centre half forward. Over the head of Conway and Thompson. Thompson will back herself for speed. Can she shrug the tackle? She can. Gets up, goes again, dribbles, goalwards! What a goal from Stevie Lee Thompson. She ties the scores with just over a minute left in the opening term. Electrifying stuff from Stevie Lee. The second goal for the season. And the Crows tied up with just over a minute left in the first.
Well, there's nervous moments for any players when Stevie Lee finds time and space inside 50. A slip tackle there, and Stevie's ability just to back herself in. She went to give the hands, but backed herself in and kicks Adelaide's first goal. Loves the celebration too, does Stevie Lee Thompson.
One of 6 players on the ground playing a league record 41st game this afternoon, and the Crows had 7 goalless quarters this season. 5 of them had come in their 2 losses. Stevie Lee Thompson rights the ship with 71 seconds to play. Casual word from Coach Matthew Clark, who could not look more relaxed.
He looks very relaxed, doesn't he?
Almost looks like he should have a golden retriever with him and heading down the park maybe for quarter time instead of addressing the troops. Good grand final, as has been the theme. Anderson shoveling ball, Allinger surrounded and then finds a gap. Tumbles the ball wide, it'll favour Cox in the speed battle against Hodder, but the gang tackling's there. Crows flick it around.
Adelaide.
Free kick for a hold will go the way of Cox, who, as mentioned, one of several Crows looking for a 3rd title, and she's been an important return, as has Van Hagen, who's played the last 5 after those knee and thigh issues. High fly is going to come from Zilke. A clutch of players in the air. The bottom Charlton, it comes free. Brisbane can ill afford to once again be scored against late in the quarter, as they were back in round 4 when the Crows scored in the final minute of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th quarters. Van Hagen fossicking for it. It backheeled its way to O'Dwyer, who pretty much threw it. Here's the pocket rocket. Martin surrounded. It's tossed back to Gould. Desperate smother as the seconds tick down. Allinger, Bates, Conan, relief by foot. Wushner with a contest. O'Dwyer comes through. Clock probably denies the Lions here as Allen comes to meet it. Goal apiece at quarter time with the 2021 AFL decider.
Most at 50-50. 2 really evenly matched teams. Nothing between them as we start the second term of the 2021 AFLW Grand Final. Metcalf in the ruck. Here's Spark, immediately tackled by Marinoff, rolls reversed. O'Dwyer, pressured by Hatchard, flips it out in the Bates direction. She's worked off the line of it by Metcalf. Phillips in the middle of the ground, just 2 touches in the opening term. Bodie had the kick smothered by Van Hagen. Here is Phillips getting involved again. Bounces it towards the forward 50. Coming out to meet it, Ponta, good turning circle. Couldn't quite dispose of the football. Lutkins came again. Martin rolls the shoulders. Gets it to Mules. Adelaide looking to surge forward here. O'Dwyer with the tackle, umpire rewards it. Good scrambling defence from the Lions. Free kick going to Orla O'Dwyer.
Big stop from the Irishwoman against one of the league's premier midfielders. So that's what's in front of Orla O'Dwyer. Pushed out towards the benches as Jones flies in on Conway. It's now Mules and Hodder. Hodder was careful to infringe. Arnell, it flicks free for Najwa Allen, who finds Marinoff. Decides to kick forward. Zilke kicks through Phillips. Now an opportunity for Hodder on the half. Snapped to 3 Crows through the feet of Metcalf, but had enough time and showed some dexterity to spin free. Tracking back Anderson. She'll clock up some miles this afternoon, Ali Anderson. This will be a 6th possession to join Conan and Zilke as the leading possession getter so far for the Lions. And it's careful movement for the team that had the best short kick differential of any team through the season. Dangerous ball that works in the end, Campbell to Bates.
G. Conan had a ripping opening quarter, didn't she? Just working those angles beautifully and defensively, not giving Erin Phillips any space inside 50.
Thompson's punch went straight to Bates. And the kick turned over. Martin played on. Campbell slaps it forward. Van Hagen will get there for Adelaide. Good shepherd there from Martin. Barnhagen goes for territory down the line. Tracking it back is Zilke and Shear. And it'll be a free kick to Brisbane. Last touch rule. Emma Zilke, the captain, turns 33 on Monday. Has been there from day one for the Brisbane Lions. Ridden the roller coaster with this team. Barnhagen, quick release. O'Dwyer flipped it forward. Allen coming in the other direction, sweeping handball. Here's a dangerous Thompson again. She'll light up the Jets. Didn't get a good bounce. Runs to 48. Attacks the goal. It floats towards the pocket. Oh, what a bounce! Woodland just couldn't quite process it.
Couldn't process it, but how about that defence from the Brisbane Lions? They did not get an ideal bounce. There's no I guess, question around that, but what they did was immediately turn into defensive mode. I think we've got a blood rule here.
Yeah, it's Shannon Campbell. She might have got to straight boot here.
There's the boot.
So Campbell on the bottom of that. Woodland bounced into her lap, and she just took a split second to process it, and the Brisbane Lions defence just closed her down. Shannon Campbell, what a season she's had. And you're seeing the influence today. We've talked about their defence, that big defensive four that have played so much together, Abs. It's telling, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. They'll be hoping that, they can patch her up and get her out there as quick as they can, because she's so important back there.
Larkins wide out on the full. So the Crows have had the last 9 inside 50s, either side of quarter time. The game is on their terms at the moment. Can they take full toll? Jones to Ponta. So Danielle Ponta, mercurial when she's at her best. Has not kicked the goal since round 6 when she got a bag of 4 against the Gold Coast Suns. Kicked goals in both the prelim and grand final back in 2019 to give the home side their first lead of the afternoon. Exquisite.
Elite skills of Danielle Ponta. She's a highly rated, a highly valued member of this Adelaide Crows outfit, an NT girl up in Darwin. St Mary's Footy Club representative who's now absolutely doing her thing on the big stage. Well, it was a good kick there, just to hit up Danielle Ponta from Eloise Jones, and she's elite. She's an elite kick, is Danielle Ponta. Highly rated member of this Adelaide team, one of their most important forwards, and if she gets busy early, who knows how much damage she can do across the afternoon.
Doesn't need a lot of touches to have an impact.
Doesn't.
First goal in 4 weeks for Danielle Ponta, puts Adelaide in front for the first time this afternoon. They've been outstanding since the middle of the opening term. Now it's up to Brisbane to respond. Hickey got the tap. Dawes will go no further. Stood up in the tackle by Marinoff and Phillips.
Thanks, Isabel. Rhiannon, Talia.
Metcalf and Hickey, Hatchard on the move. Again, manages to almost bust through O'Dwyer. Made sure she didn't get boot to ball. Grider coming back the other way. Delivers towards forward 50. Wushner up in front. Punched away by Foley. Smith paddles in the Anderson direction. Wushner quick hands. Dawes was sold into trouble. Charlton pops a little handball forward. Marinoff, she can't get boot to ball. And on the bottom of that pack is Emma Zilke. As we head down to Sammy.
Yes, Jace, we saw Shannon Campbell come to the bench under the blood rule. They just wanted to check out where it was coming from. It wasn't the nose, it was the mouth. They had a few big cups of water, but she's straight back out there, no dramas.
Allinger kicks towards half forward. Hodder. No one inside 50. So Foley will get back. There's a Brisbane player down. It's Wushner just putting the boot back on. O'Dwyer, wide open goal square. How's this going to bounce? Is it going to pitch and roll? It will, but it'll head towards the pocket. What a goal!
Unbelievable play from Courtney Hodder, and that is exactly what she's capable of. She's responding, and she's responding in a big way to last week's game. So crafty, so clever. That is an elite goal.
Talk about making something out of nothing. Just an admiring sigh from the Adelaide faithful here. Even they have to acknowledge how good that was.
Will Courtney Hodder take a bow Have a look at just that change of speed and the skill. Ball mid-air, right foot, goal to the Brisbane Lions, and they level it up once again.
And that's why Mark of the Year and Goal of the Year should go all the way to the grand final nudge. Jez's mark wouldn't have been Mark of the Year in 1970.
I think all 9 of Courtney Hodder's career goals this season
be up there.
are nominees for Goal of the Year in the AFLW. She is absolutely magical.
Oh, she's so crafty.
And significantly, the game has been on Adelaide's terms. There were warning lights flashing on Craig Starcevich and his coaching team's dashboard, and now suddenly we're tied, which is against the flow. Smith into the ruck. Spark bought some time, but Allen grabbed it when Arnell went for the Shepherd. 2-on-2 forward. She could bundle free. Here comes Dawes looking to get handles on it. Crows numbers in the screen. Spark clean to the outside for Grider. Flying ball back with the flight. Ellinger left it for Bodie. Usually got quick feet. Allen grabbed her straight away and knew the danger was imminent. Superb tackle from Najwa Allen to keep Bodie quiet. Players just turned and looked at the men in green and said, what would you like us to do?
Don't wait for that whistle. Do not wait for that whistle, particularly in a grand final. You've got to play it to the absolute death.
So Brisbane getting a little surge of adrenaline from that last goal. They've had a couple of good minutes. Now it's up to Adelaide to respond, and Metcalf dribbles it forward. Allinger couldn't quite control it. Mills delivers it inside 50. Good body work again from Lutkins. They peel off to the broadcast side. Kick goes over the head of Thompson. Runs back ferociously and gives it to Van Hagen, who runs into a fierce tackle. Conway laid another tackle in that passage of play. Mills steps inside Dawes. Delivers towards 50. Conan again in best position. What a first half she's having.
Incredible start from Conan. Just really denying the Adelaide forwards any easy ball inside that arc.
Arnell, half back, will get it down the line. Gutsy from Hatchard to go back with the flight. Ball spills over and out.
There's a very good reason why Ash Woodland and Chloe Shear have only had the one touch, and that is Conan, isn't it? And Erin Phillips, she hasn't been able to impact, which she normally does early in games up forward. So she's been very, very important to that back line and their structure.
We suggested it would be a defensive struggle, high intensity, and that's certainly what we've seen in the first quarter and a half.
And it's been the old guard for the Lions. Conan, Zilke, Anderson, Bates with 8 apiece. Hatchard clears. Lutkins marks.
Hold the mark.
She's well and truly involved in this game as well. That's 4 marks and now a 7th possession. It'll be an effective one as well. Wushner, normally deadly on the left, over the head of Smith to the favour of Hodder. Back to Smith. They work it forward. Bodie might fly. Davidson. Excellent trap from Jones. And then fashion the kick to the advantage of Foley. Won by Wushner. Pushes it forward for Bodie. Careful to look at her options. Works her way free of Jones. Wardlaw's got to go back. Conway's in the right spot here. Good pressure at the back from Najwa Allen. Considine to Hatchard, and away go the Crows.
Chance to attack. She looks up, gets corralled. Good effort from Spark. Forced the quick release, but she still finds Button. So Hannah Button just backward to the centre circle. Steps around, gains a bit of territory. Kicks to the forward 50. It's a 3-on-1 in the air. Gould forced a contest, but numbers will win out. Zilke, Bates, 2 of the veterans combined. Conway, a fumble. Pressure came from Hatchard. Comes in over the top and will be rewarded. Great result for Adelaide in that contest. Brisbane with the outnumber. Adelaide with the football. Hatchard's kick on the bounce to Shear. Off the left boot. Sits it up for Martin. Went early. Campbell at the front. O'Dwyer immediately tackled. Taken to the ground by Charlton. So just over 6 minutes remaining in the opening half. Look at those tackle numbers. Nothing between the sides. 2 goals apiece. O'Dwyer off the contest. Awkward looking kick. Bounced kindly for Wardlaw. Needed to release quickly. O'Dwyer kept going. Left it behind. Adelaide circling again. They force the turnover. Rachich to Jones. Bouncing ball wide. It'll pitch on its point. Gould did really well. Feeds it to Charlton. Pops it over the top. Shear left it behind. Charlton there in support. Brisbane get numbers back to the contest again. Coming the other direction is Woodland. She puts the pressure on. Does well. And wins herself a free kick.
Well done, Ash Woodland. It was a great tackle. She just didn't leave the option at all. for the Brisbane disposal.
So the former D's beyond her range. She's got Jones riding shotgun. She'll pitch it towards the square. Phillips has got multiples to beat. Lutkins on clean-up duties, gets it the heck out of there. Over the head of Anderson and finds Rajcic pressing up in defence. So Mariana Rajcic won't play the arc here. She's going to dump it back in. Hickey over the top, through the hands of Phillips. Gould finds herself on her back, and the Lions will pile in. Erin Phillips has had 3 possessions. Minimal influence, it has to be said, so far. Of course, 2 goals and best of field in both the Crows' previous premierships. Bodie can clear. Bates goes up the middle, and the Crows will feast on this. Hatchard presses play immediately. Has to kick it around the umpire for Sarah Allen in unfamiliar territory from the paint of 50. Plenty of white jumpers here. Shear involved. Woodland, a kind of bounce on that occasion, and then gets bundled over the line by Lutkins. Great grand final. Courtney Hodder's 2 spectacular goals, bookending majors to Stevie Lee Thompson and Danielle Ponta.
It's been 9 inside 50s to 2 Adelaide's way in this second quarter, though, so they're just setting up so well behind the footy.
Just ratcheting up the relentless pressure here. Can they get some reward on the scoreboard? Dwyer used the body. Martin feeds it out. Jones will be confronted by 4 Lions and taken to the line. It's Craig Starcevich, Brisbane coach since day 1. Hickey at the back, Gould at the front. Zilke. Kick smothered off her boot. Phillips throws her boot at it. Misses right. Adelaide lead again by the barest of margins. Just under 3.5 remaining until half-time.
Lutkins away of the hands of Woodland. Van Hagen pinballed, and Charlton could still take the mark. Called to play on. Sizzles a kick towards Marinoff, who is fumbly, and that's unfamiliar through the legs of Hodder, flashing through. Rajcic with a little shin. Foley held her with Cox, mown down. Dawes tosses it. Free kick for a push. It'll go the way of Dana Cox. Dawes is quick to point out the line. Considine confused. She wants the Sharon. Dana Cox's ball with every player on the ground in the Crows' half. Jones will be the fly here alongside Shear. Anderson, Phillips, big names in the screen. Hickey lost her footing and will receive the free kick.
So Brisbane hanging on here, trying to get to half-time with no further concessions. Kick goes wide. Adelaide numbers again. Martin was just unceremoniously pushed in the back by Bates. So once again, the Crows will pump it back inside 50. Martin, really clever kick towards Shear. Didn't want to thump it long. Tried to find a target. O'Dwyer tidies it up towards the wing, and Hodder takes the mark.
Every player was in Adelaide's forward half, so Courtney Hodder's done very, very well just to take the composure, hit a short target, and allow her teammates to get forward. Nige
mentioned their short kicking game a little earlier. It is one of their strengths, retaining the possession. And that's what they'll look to do here. They've got a minute and a half to try and manufacture a shot at goal through the legs of Wardlaw. Rajcic at the back. Allen immediately tackled by O'Dwyer. Ball spills to Rajcic. Feeds it out to Cox. Hodder tackles with intent.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
Just the 6 touches for Ebony Marinoff so far across the opening half as well. I think at halftime last week she had 20 and a massive, massive influence around the ground. So they're doing really well to nullify her influence.
Lovely tap, Hickey, down to Dawes. Off to Anderson, inside 50. Hard one to mark. Bodie came down with it, but Foley had a piece. Umpire said play on. Ball in dispute. Bodie goes back to try and strip it once again. Cox lurking. And we'll have another stoppage. With a minute left on the clock. Abs, what do you make of this one?
Ange Foley definitely had the first touch on that footy, so really good call by the umpire.
So Hatchard will nominate for the ruck against Hickey, who wins the tap down in the Anderson direction. Feeds it into space. Allinger runs onto it. Uses the support. Anderson knew she was going to be tackled. Released quickly. Wushner at the back tried to paddle to advantage. She'll get it back. She's a left footer! And she kicks the goal. Brisbane get the late one. Jess Wushner gets her 5th of the season. And Brisbane, it must be said, Nudge, against the flow, hit the front.
Well, Jace, Adelaide average a league-leading 11 more inside 50s than their opponents across the season. Right now, they've had 12 more inside 50s than the Lions, but they trail.
Well done to Jess Wushner. She just missed the footy there, but it was the second effort to regather, get composed in front of goal and snap that on the left foot. 30 disposals for her, and she's kicked a major before half-time. She's so important for them. 5
grand final goals for Jess Wushner, kicked 2 in 17 and 18. She is a finisher, another Lion who didn't play in the round 4 match. Yeah. The Crows have had 12 more inside 50s. Brisbane have the lead. 40 seconds to play ahead of half-time. Smith and Metcalf, Marinoff a 7th touch, but it's ineffective and turned over. Bates, Bodie, body on body with Thompson. Rachich was in front of Wardlaw. Foley to Allen. Frontal pressure was applied by Spark. Martin has to wait an eternity and he's got the safe mitts. Can the Crows find an answer back? Martin doing the heavy lifting. Off to Jones, who scissors away inside 15 seconds. Flicks through some hands. She's pretty good from range as she can keep this in. She's against the line, through one, over the top for Pontus. Similarly, Mercurial against the line as the clock ticks against the home side.
Half-time in the 2021 AFLW Grand Final, and we've got ourselves a ball game.
Excellent. A focus he pulled out, though, was slow things out coming out of defence. Give the Lions mids a bit more time to get involved. No injuries to report.
Second half of the Grand Final. Adelaide are half away from a 3rd title, or Brisbane on the verge of their 1st. Here's Nudge.
O'Dwyer busy in the opening half. She'll kick it the width of the square. Pitches and favours Arnell, who bundled Conway out of the way to get some breathing room. Bates running everywhere. Wardlaw and Rachich. Advantage Rachich, who somehow managed to get the ball free towards Jones. Marinoff was paused in front of her. Her kick's largely ineffective, and Anderson can chop off. Ola O'Dwyer, incidentally, that was her 11th. Only shaded by Emily Bates from a Lions possession getting point of view. Anderson to the teeth of 50. Hotter. Jones spent a lot of time in Adelaide's back half. Bates wide and out. So there's Emily Bates on screen. As mentioned, her and Lauren Arnell played in a premiership for Yeronga South Brisbane in the Queensland women's competition. Of course, footy in both Queensland and SA was able to continue through 2020 as Allen's dealt with off the ball by Davidson. A bit of frustration, perhaps.
Be very careful. Be very careful with that, okay?
Come back on.
The instruction from the umpire. Dakota Davidson, just 2 touches so far.
Here's Rachich. Had a power of work to get through in the first half, and she turns it over. O'Dwyer, as Nige mentioned, having a fantastic afternoon. Delivers it low inside 50, over the head of Davidson. It beats Wardlaw as well. Thompson's been one of the most influential players on the ground. Hodder lurks. Well done, Allen. Back to Thompson. Just tumbles it outside 50, but Anderson in best position for Brisbane. Gives it off. Bates, little miscommunication there. And they do turn it over. Can Adelaide make them pay on the counter? Standing underneath it as she has all afternoon, Brie Conan.
Well, defensively, Brisbane have started really well in this 3rd term. They're structuring up perfectly behind the footy for those Adelaide long kicks, but they just need to be able to impact in forward 50.
Campbell to forward 50. Hatchard couldn't complete the mark, but gathers neatly at ground level. Off the fingertips of Ponta. Gathered by Gould. It's a one-on-one forward of the football. Woodland took front position. Can she give it off or go herself? She gives it off. Here's a chance for Ponta. Gets run down. Once again, that Brisbane defence gets back in numbers and shuts it down. This time it's Nat Grider.
Nothing's been getting past that Brisbane, that wall that they're just building across that 50 line for Adelaide. Yes, Adelaide were plus 20 inside 50. Oh, sorry, plus 12 inside 50s as that ball will be the lasso, but Brisbane have forced them to be really shallow entries, so they need to do something different.
Anderson turns it over, chance to make amends. She goes to ground. Here's Ponta from the angle. Drifts it towards the top of the square. Woodland is a couple of metres behind Campbell. Campbell a fumble. In the end, it's over and out, but pressure building once again for Adelaide. Both these teams are on top defensively. Is it going to be some individual brilliance at the sides of 2021 Grand Final?
Early change. Emazilki straight off, Indy Tahu on, so perhaps a taller player required in Brisbane's defence. Conan sandwiched. Martin goes again over the top.
Fine.
Tied at quarter time, a goal apiece. Brisbane with 2 goals to 1-1 in the second as Phillips appeals. The ball somehow spills free of Conan, who still doesn't really have possession. It's a big call. Umpire will cross himself.
The umpire was ready to go then, wasn't he?
And there was 25,000 people ready to go with him.
Ready to go with him, but she just managed to let that footy go loose.
Hickey, Anderson, the fingertips off to Bates. A busy start to Hurd third quarter. Wide for Allen against Davidson. Trickling ball, eventually Hatchard. Knuckles it inboard for Cox. Pressure from Bodie. What can Brisbane create? Paddling goes Wardlaw. Bates through her legs. Fashions it looking and hoping. Sfark just stood over the top of it. O'Dwyer. Bates again. Partner in crime's Anderson. Wardlaw. Fist from Allen. Thompson. Metcalf. This will go deep. Where are the markers? Lutkins with the flight. They are impassable, Brisbane in defence.
Perfect example right there. Adelaide getting the inside 50s balls. They're just shallow entries, and Brisbane defence are just eating every single long kick that goes deep in there. They need to be a little bit more composed, hit these shorter targets and work the angles inside 50.
Campbell to Conan. So Lutkins, Campbell and Conan all involved. And they are the great wall right now. O'Dwyer to the wing. Can she take Thompson on? She can't. She tried.
Someone's down, Jace.
There's an Adelaide player down. Looks like it's Dana Cox. Umpire calls for the ball. Dana Cox exits the area, so Thompson can continue. Drives it to half forward. Gould in best position. Got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. Shear at the back. Bananas at inside 50. Can Woodland get involved in the game? She's been shut out so far. Here's the run of Grider. Awkward looking kick, dangerous one. Jones will get a look from 48 metres. She winds up towards the square. Shear in good position. Once again, Campbell gets back.
Eloise Jones just so clean below the knees. It's just one touch. She had plenty of time and space, and with her electric speed around the ground, you certainly don't want that to happen often.
So a breather for Shannon Campbell, who needs to somehow get through the Crows zone here. Hickey and Jones are the Flyers. Body from Mushner. Handball from Ellinger. Arnell will buy herself some time cleverly. Paddles one for Davidson, a rare touch. Flicked it to Ellinger. She will not get through the stand-in captain in Foley. Davidson is just starting to throw the weight around. There's some angry pills that have been taken at half-time.
That's it, boundary side to Soda.
Yeah, we saw Dana Cox just coming to the boundary line. Looked like she was just shaking a little bit, but then she just pushed the medical staff away, went straight back on. She's got a big job on Courtney Hodder.
She's a ferocious competitor as Arnell gets it to Smith. Over the back, here's Wushner.
Speed.
Bounces it forward. No one forward of the ball. It's going to roll through. Wushner's got a couple. And Brisbane out to a 10-point lead. They soak up the Adelaide pressure and hit them on the counter. Jess Wushner from 48 metres. Wide open goal square. It bounces through truly. And the veteran having an impact. And what a journey back to football it's been for Jess Wushner.
And it's moments like these, isn't it? These moments of individual brilliance that might just determine the result in the 2021 AFLW Grand Final. Jess Wushner, left footer, recognised that there was nobody deep inside 50, bombed it long, and what a fortuitous bounce through the goals.
In front of some effervescent Lions fans at that end of the ground. So Wushner 2 in each Grand Final she's played. The biggest number in the third quarter right now is Brisbane have had 9 marks to 1. They've had some control. It's even in terms of inside 50s. Phillips thrown out of it. Marinoff. Charlton presents.
Hold there. Thank you.
Players careful through the protected zone here. Svarka was flirting his sheer marks. Adelaide looking for an immediate answer. There are Crows jumpers darting everywhere inside forward 50, and now it's Ponta's opportunity to kick her pair.
That's better. That's exactly what Adelaide need to do. We saw it in the second quarter with Eloise Jones hitting Danielle Ponta out at the other end of the ground, and it's happened again. If you manage to hit her on the chest, she will deliver for you.
Well, that was as kinetic as Adelaide's forward half has looked this afternoon. Ponta, that one not quite what we saw to the other end in the second term, so Brisbane get ball back in hand. Margin 10 as we hit the halfway mark of the third.
Just a little bit of oxygen out of the atmosphere here at Adelaide Oval right now.
Well, there's a question mark hovering over the 2-time champs.
Watkins from deep in defence. A little bit of extra flight on the ball, just cleared Phillips. Mark taken by Tahu. Floats a kick to Conway.
This is the control.
So right now, Brisbane, with the game on their terms, Hodder couldn't control it. There's a chance for Cox. Who can spark the Crows? 10 points the margin as Conway's wrapped up.
You can just see a little bit of indecision in the minds of these Adelaide Crows champions. You know, 2 flags in the first 5 years, but just a little bit of indecision creeping into their game, which we haven't seen so far this year.
Such a professional outfit, so talented. Never write them off as Marinoff goes to Charlton. It's just a 10-point game. 1 goal either way changes things enormously. Charlton's kick to Raychich. Fumbled. Bodie now. The tackle on Considine. Raychich comes across. Saw the tackle numbers in that third term. Adelaide 10, Brisbane 3, but a little bit of that indicating that Brisbane have been first to the football. Bates takes Marinoff down. So the blueprint for the Crows was that last inside 50. Hit the targets, try and take those intercept defenders out of play. Can they manufacture something here? Considine just tries to power through. She's stripped of the football. Umpire says lingering tackle. Free kick Crows and Considine. She chips towards 50. Tough one for Phillips. Gathered by Ponta. Gets good distance on this snap, but once again, the high ball in is going to get picked off.
Hold there, please.
And this time it's the youngster Tahu as Emma Zelke gets some attention on the bench. The kick from Tahu, not good. And Adelaide will get a chance to set up inside 50 as we head down to Sammy.
We'll get official word from the Brisbane Lions. What I can tell you from the naked eye is that Emma Zelke came to a mat in the hands of the physio and just burst into tears. She's now sitting on the bench.
Shades of Adelaide skipper Erin Phillips being out of the grand final midway through the third quarter a couple of years ago.
Davidson, Anderson sandwiched.
Fine.
She's in tears. She's in tears. Very evidently distressed, so it's not looking good for the rest of the afternoon with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this third term.
Crows somehow work it inside forward 50. Desperate was Conan. Phillips trying to match motors. Conan's tackle did linger there as Considine gets a toe to it. O'Dwyer, Grider, she can trap it. Work her way free of Ponta. Kick will hug the line. Got over the head of Van Hagen in a one-on-one with Wushner, who just bundled her out of the way. Tried to protect the footy. Allen goes to drag it in. Davidson keeps it alive. Wushner, a clever touch. Now a chance for Brisbane to set up camp in their half. Wardlaw has it.
No one forward as well. So she just needed to be a little bit composed there, which she was.
Wushner, it made Arnell stretch. Goes back to Wardlaw. They'll work it inside 50. Foley's back there. Davidson had to make the contest. That was big. O'Dwyer. Again over the head of the Crows' defence, but out of bounds on the fall.
Ange Foley's down clutching at this left knee as well. Terrible, terrible scenes, and she's in a lot of pain as well. Dakota Davidson just went over to check on her, which is a great sign of sportsmanship.
So both captains injured in the space of 5 minutes. Let's have a look at the incident.
Yeah, just a twist. That's almost the exact spot Erin Phillips went down in the third quarter of the 2019 Grand Final. Almost the same spot on the ground, and you see the stops of her left boot just plant.
Hear the crowd
and the torque through the leg
as they saw that on screen, Jace.
So both teams now looking likely to be a player down.
And have a look at these Adelaide girls. Angela Foley, she's their fearless leader out there in today's Grand Final. This would absolutely be devastating.
So we effectively get a three-quarter time break and then another three-quarter time break in 3 minutes' time now for both of these groups to gather themselves.
It's a tough, cruel game, isn't it? Emma Zilke in tears. Ange Foley the same. So much time, effort, such a long journey for both these women to get to this point.
Well, either way, Jace, in about half an hour's time, we're going to have an injured premiership captain on the dais.
So the ball's with the Crows. We've got just over 3 minutes remaining. Big pack of players. Spills to the deck. Hatchard in there, fighting furiously with Hickey on the deck.
Breaks your heart, Ange Foley. She's just such an incredible, I guess, light within this side. She brings so much energy and is a key piece to this back line.
Lauren Arnell picked up the football, but no escape from that traffic. Metcalf the tap. Here is Arnell. Throws it on the left boot, gets it inside 50. Three Crows attack the air. Van Hagen paddled to the advantage of Martin. Handball was hot for Van Hagen. Look at that desperation from Arnell. Just got a hand in. Cox, Hatchard. Down the line, Lutkins, a rare fumble. Open the door for Phillips. Now it's a race for Shear. Tahu looks behind her. No, she's got 5 metres, gets a horrible bounce. It's opened up for Shear. She's got Ponta to the outside. Will she go herself? Can she get free? Good pressure again, Brisbane. Huge moment. The Lions win it. And Lutkins can square to Conway on the back of the centre square.
Their team defence has been extraordinary this afternoon, Brisbane. They've packed and brought the heat in every sense to Adelaide. Conway shapes. He's going to go to Bodie. Kicks forward to 2-on-1. Favouring Cox, who's returned to the fray. Wardlaw couldn't do anything about it, and Charlton can take the mark. Who's going to lift for the Crows? Allen. Careful kick. Jones and Grider are both athletic. Jones runs out of territory. 97 seconds left of the third quarter. Adelaide have not kicked a goal since Danielle Ponta put them in front. 4 minutes in to the second quarter. Courtney Hodder and Jess Wushner before half-time to give them the lead, and then Wushner's second at the 7-minute mark has given them this 10-point advantage. We haven't had a goal in 9 pulsating, drama-filled minutes.
Just under a minute and a half remaining. Campbell forces a contest, does better than that, she wins it. Can deliver it to 50. Wushner has already kicked a couple. Thompson's got the speed to get there and pressure her. She's going to have 3 to beat. Rachich, Cox. Wushner almost tackled both of them at once. Thompson's kick, a turnover. Bates a fumble. In came Mules. Beautiful slap forward. Here's Spark. 40 metres out. Tumbles it over the back. It's heading goal and Arnell puts it through. Massive goal for the Lions in the final minute of the third. Lauren Arnell gets her first of the afternoon, her third of the season, and the margin out to 16 points with 53 seconds left on the clock. Once again, a long ball to a wide open 50. The Lions scramble it forward, and this time it's the veteran in her final game who puts her side 16 points up.
Well done. Have a look at that Brisbane defence. This unbelievable effort just to paddle that ball forward, kick it long from Spark. And wouldn't this be a fairy tale finish for Lauren Arnell? She celebrates with the Brisbane crowd, but they're up and about and they can sense it.
Her work rate as a forward this season's been something to enjoy. She's had a game-high 7 possessions in the third quarter in Brisbane's front half of the ground. And the emotion there on the Brisbane players, they can sense it right now.
They can sense it.
Adelaide almost 2 quarters of footy without a goal here. Dawes. They're surging Brisbane. Conway to the outside, Anderson with some velocity and a bounce. Have they got another one in them? Wardlaw goes to ground, back to Arnell. Spark lost the handle. We'll get it back from Conway a second time. A backhander. Anderson. Wardlaw can't mow it down. It gets to the line, and we've got 26 seconds to play. And right now, Adelaide's fingernails are slipping off the Premiership Cup they lifted 2 years ago at this venue. Rushing through Dawes, she copped a high one, she has. And that was just energy that created panic in Adelaide's defensive group around the ball.
Absolutely. She hit that stoppage hard, didn't she? At speed, at pace.
And a young firebrand they've brought into their team in the past 2 seasons. She was picked 15 in the draft a couple of years back. Product of Wilston Grange and Maroochydore. She's kicked 2 AFLW goals. The 19-year-old on the biggest stage of all kicks the biggest one of all. On 3/4 time, Brisbane go bang, 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 and lead the 2021 AFLW Grand Final by 22 points.
Or will it be Brisbane for the first time? The Lions lead by 22 points as we start the final term. Hickey in the ruck. O'Dwyer came streaming in off the line. Hatchard a fumble. Anderson a kick forward. Hodder came out to meet it. Can Marinoff get involved? Can Phillips get involved? It's flipped out to Van Hagen. There is Marinoff again. Back towards the wing. Got to start winning these 50-50 contests, Adelaide. Charlton does that. Feeds Shear. Shear towards half forward. Here's a chance for Jones. Will it sit for her? It does. Gets onto her right boot. Delivers to Ponta. Can she step inside? She can't. Campbell there again. And this Brisbane defence has been miserly.
It's been unbelievable, hasn't it, Jace? Just that defensive group. They've given Adelaide no time or space, no easy balls inside 50. They've been amazing this afternoon.
Hickey thumps it in the Anderson direction. Here's Hatchard. Gets boot to ball. Fed back to Conan. Off a step. Here's a chance for Jones. And will that be 50? It will. Umpire will bring Ola O'Dwyer back to the line. And make it a certainty for Eloise Jones. Exactly the start Adelaide are looking for. Jones steps up. Point blank range. 16-point game. Well, we'll need to take another look as to the infringement that led to the 50-metre penalty. It took what was probably a 65-35 kick and made it a certainty. Eloise Jones with her 5th goal of the season. And this big Adelaide Oval crowd gets an injection of excitement. Can the Crows feed off that? Both teams 1 player down. Both have lost their skipper for the day.
Well, they needed a goal, and they needed it quickly. It was that surge kick just to try and get it out of trouble, and that was the 50-metre penalty, which, for mine, didn't look to be all that 50-metre penalty worthy, but they needed a goal.
Well, it's either twofold. We're a bit confused, as I'm sure a lot of people are. It's either that Ola O'Dwyer was late, or perhaps Stander was called on the mark and she's walked. So
no Stander.
A bit more in terms of just encroaching into a protected zone. So some confusion there. Margin 16. Hickey, handball free for Gould. Crows fans wanted a high one on Conway, and they'll get it. No, ball's going to come back. It will be a free kick at the source. So Arnell will stand the mark, and Caitlin Gould, who's gone from working in the Crowmania store to finding herself in a Crows jumper on the biggest stage of all. 13 minutes of playing time, ample for Adelaide to find 3 majors. Won't get free of the square. Marinoff dribbles. Woodland, an air swing. Lutkins, a pressured kick. If it gets to the line, it's an Adelaide ball, and it will.
Let's head boundary side. Soda with an update on Ange Foley.
Yeah, obviously Ange Foley, she's done that knee, is up on ice, and as we saw Chelsea Randall right on the edge of the line, she couldn't come in at three-quarter time, and she's just pumped the charges up as the Crows go forward now.
Phillips had 5 to beat. Arnell, Grider under pressure, as everything seems to be right now. And the ball's living in Adelaide's half all of a sudden.
You get the sense that that momentum is just shifting. It's a grand final. It's just leaps and bounds of momentum in every direction, and it's certainly with Adelaide.
Considine pumps it in long. Grider took it off the pack. And again, they use the space wide pretty well. O'Dwyer now being sweated on by Thompson. She had clean hands, did it really well. Bodie was run down. Air swing from Bates. Hodder collects. Just gets it out of the danger zone in the middle of the ground, and now it's Adelaide building the wall. Adelaide landing repeated punches here as Raychich goes inside 50 and finds Charlton. Crowd searching, Crows are searching. Ponta not quite. And Lutkins composed as always. Quick kick from Tahu. Thompson run down by O'Dwyer. What a battle that's been this afternoon on the wing. Charlton's quick kick inside 50. A couple of Crows spoiled each other. Gould and Ponta. Probably wasn't the required distance anyway. Ball on the bottom of that scrimmage. And Adelaide circling here, trying to land another. They know if they can get close, they can put pressure on Brisbane, and there's a few demons in the back of the mind.
Gets to the outside for Gould. She didn't get the bounce that Anderson did. Svark's free, but she overruns it. And just motors away from 3 Crows. She stared them in the face. Takes on Hatchard. Hasn't got a lot forward, though. And this is where Adelaide are building pressure at the moment. The wall's been set up. This time it's Mules. Flies one over Hodder. She's in space here. Desperate fist from Anderson. Opportunity for Marinoff. Where's Phillips? Woodland's at the back. Body on body. Can she mark or get a boot to it? Desperate defence from Brisbane again. They keep staring at the Flames. Kick pivots its way to Allen. Conway can't hit her. Charlton, it went through her fingertips. Bodie's back there as the help. This Sherrin is behaving in an extraordinary fashion in this grand final so far. Abs, look at that mountain of ball in Adelaide's forward 50. And it looks like Erin Phillips is going to play permanent forward down the stretch.
8 inside 50s to 0 to start this final quarter. Adelaide are coming. They're getting the ball deep inside. They've just got to strike.
Every player within 60 metres of Adelaide's goal. So even if Brisbane get it out, there's nowhere to go.
And if there's one woman that can create that lift and that spark inside 50, it's Erin Phillips.
Hickey in the ruck. Conan goes long. Once again, Adelaide numbers back. Allen. So the temptation for Brisbane is to push all your players back inside 50 and just go full on defence. But it makes it a self-fulfilling prophecy. You just can't get it out of the 50. And if you give Adelaide enough looks, eventually they're going to make the most of it. They're appealing for a mark there. Caitlin Gould calling for it. Umpire saying there were multiple sets of hands. 9 minutes rather and 13 seconds. A long time to just hang on and fully defend. Bodie, Anderson, Conway. Can they get a mark outside 50 and then just control the ball? Not this time. Considine gets it and goes. Pops it back up inside 50. Numbers under this one for Brisbane, which means at ground level it's all Adelaide. Hatchard swings it across the body. Shannon Campbell once again gets up a little proppy, but what a game she's played. Can they find an exit here? Get back to that kick mark game. The uncontested game is what they're looking for. Thompson with a couple to beat. It'll get over the back. Little handball forward. Thompson goes to ground. O'Dwyer suckers off the deck. She can turn around and realise she's the only one there. But the ball teases her and runs out. So an opportunity lost. Adelaide ball, centre wing, out of side.
The Lions continue to absorb the pressure. It's 41 inside 50s to 20 in favour of the home side. Hatchard for Marinoff. Mown down by Svark, who couldn't roll her, and it's in the back.
Well done.
So Ebony Marinoff, this will be a 16th possession of the afternoon. What have the Crows got forward? No Mark Campbell. Lutkins kick smothered. Goes in for a second bite.
Still just bombing it in though, Abs.
They are, and there's 15 marks between Campbell, Conan and Lutkins back there for the Brisbane defence. So Adelaide, they just need to find a better passage to go and be a bit more methodical in their build-up.
Phillips somehow gets boots a ball. Ponta couldn't mark. Bodie, Conway. Can they find a link in the chain here? They will.
They need that mark.
And it's Davidson.
That's the link. That's what they needed. And Dakota Davidson just saying just to calm down.
Her first mark of the afternoon, would you believe?
Yep.
She'll go long down the line. It actually wasn't the right option because Adelaide had the numbers back. Van Hagen takes the mark. She wants to get it and go. Time starting to become a factor. They've got to find 3 goals in 7 minutes. Martin, untimely fumble. Van Hagen kept running. Hatchard on the overlap to Considine. She'll have a bounce. Wants someone to come at her. Puts it into the path of Thompson. Can she get it and go? Wants to step inside and does. Puts on the jets. Runs to 48. Kick needs to be good. Woodland at the top of the square. Forces a contest. In the end, that's a good result.
Jace, we just saw Emily Bates and Ellie Anderson both come to the bench. They were gassed. They could barely get over the chalk of the boundary line. Brisbane are fatigued.
And you can see that there's just this added spark from the Adelaide side of things, isn't it? Their intensity is lifted in this final term.
Can they find one here and get within 10 points? What a lift it would give them. Metcalf out of the ruck. Runs into traffic. And gone. Another important win for the Brisbane defence. And Lutkins has it.
And what was 10 minutes is now 6. Lutkins, possession, a breather. Lutkins, Campbell, Conan, Brisbane's holy trinity in defence. They have been magnificent, as has Wushner with 2, and some clever uses like that to Dawes.
This is good.
Who took her moment on 3/4 time.
This is that composure, that controlled footy that they need if they're going to be the 2021 premiers.
Cox probably took that mark in the end. Marinoff. Every kick's been under pressure this afternoon. Jones, Martin a fumble. They can't afford any mistakes right now, Adelaide. Desperation from every Brisbane player. They are head first at everything right now. It's a free kick, Crows. Rochelle Martin will take it. Marinoff wants the handball received. No point giving it to the stationary play. You can see Hatchard's darted into space for Martin. She'll go deeper. Fly came from Jones, Ryder, Lutkins. Option was Conway again, holding her width. Will it sit up for her on tired legs? Woodland comes to meet her now and got her high. And Brisbane are 5 minutes away.
Sophie Conway been so important this afternoon, out in space. 13th possession coming up. Floats a kick in the Davidson direction. She'll gather at ground level again, just kick for territory, turn the defence around, and it pitches kindly. It'll run away from Considine. Here comes Kathy Spark. Tries to step around. That is fraught with danger.
Huge.
You just don't get around Kathy Spark.
That is huge from Spark. It looks like a shoulder there for Eloise Jones as she is making her way to the bench. But that type of action from Spark is what lifts its side to premiership glory.
To Grider. Wardlaw slides in. Dawes, good tackle. Flipped out, Button and Wardlaw. Button coughs it up. O'Dwyer, Grider. High ball inside 50. Hodder against Van Hagen. Spills towards the line. Arnell happy to watch it dribble out.
You can see a group of Brisbane players in your screen there in their race. The squad came here en masse. A couple of the players are wearing scarves. They were jumping up and down with excitement then. They can sense it.
It takes an entire squad, doesn't it? Not just the players that are named to take the field on grand final day, but the entire squad is here to play today.
The ball at the right end of the ground for Craig Starcevich's team. Wardlaw lost it in the sun. Umpire who was off the contest has found an infringement. It'll go the way of the Lions. And the home fans are not happy about it. Jessie Wardlaw has called her shot here. She has not kicked a major since round 9. 6-3 for the season. 4 of them coming against the Suns in a super performance back in round 2. She kicked 6 in a quaffle premiership a couple of years back. It's deep to the line. Won't be paid to Metcalf off a set of hands. Hodder is lurking with intent.
Do you know what? That was great by Wardlaw, though. She knew she didn't have the distance in her leg, but she took the entire 30 seconds off the clock, didn't she? Very, very smart.
Wardlaw and Metcalf to the line, and that's out on the full. That's going to be a shot at goal for Wushner. And she's a chance to go back and kick a third.
She loves these trick shots too, doesn't she? She's so skillful in front of the goal. She has a bit of a laugh because she knows it's going to take her best, but she's a left footer.
So will she go the banana? Yeah.
I'd go the banana. I don't have a left foot on me, so.
And a smile on her face because she knows victory is only 2 minutes away. Can she ice it? Poster.
First blemish of the afternoon for Brisbane, who've taken their chances in the final. 7-3 last week. Crows just have to roll the dice. Allen knows it. Up the middle. Lions are plenty. They've got a lot of energy in those legs right now. Bates wide for Wushner. Again, a favourable pitch that buys some time and meterage. Wushner against the line. She was dealt with as she kicked. Now it's a throw in. Jace alluded to Jess Wushner. Struck by lightning working on the docks in Brisbane. Didn't play until round 5.
Really struggled with some mental demons since, understandably so.
Yep.
Remarkable story in a team of remarkable stories. Bates, free. This would be poignant. She misses left.
They've been amazing all year, haven't they, Brisbane? They're certainly, you know, just one big cohesive group that works incredibly well together to get the job done week in, week out. There's no underlying massive superstars of the game as part of that squad, but they're just so well together.
Dwyer goes to ground. She's been fantastic this afternoon. What a game she's played, as has this lady, Brie Conan. Mad scramble. It's been a tough day for Phillips. They've shut her down, taken her out of the game. Once again, it's Brie Conan wrapping her up. There's Craig Starcevic. He knows the job is now done. There's the smile. He can finally allow himself to relax and enjoy this last 68 seconds. Wardlaw tackled. Good job by Sarah Allen, fighting right to the end. Allen. Back to the middle of the ground. Ponta, clean hands, Metcalf. Once again, Brisbane beautifully set up across the back. This is Grider. And these are the best seconds in a footballer's career. When you know it's yours. Lutkins to Conway. You can just sneak a look at the crowd. Enjoy the moment. Through traffic to the back for Bates. Into the path of Wardlaw. Off to Bates. She's been there from the start. Thompson works hard to get back. Davidson through her hands. Sweet redemption. The Brisbane Lions are queens of the jungle. They are the champions of AFLW for the first time.
We are the pride of Brisbane town. We wear the roll, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory like a Troy.